What's going on, Gunnar Miller?
What's up, man? How you doing, Clint?
I'm good, buddy. Man, you're moving around a lot. You're walking?
Yeah, so one of my new habits, I think we talked about this last time, was that at noon or during my lunch breaks, I like to get out and walk a couple miles. So that's about 35 minutes to 40 minutes.
Right.
Kind of relaxes the mind, relieves some stress, and makes the day go by a little bit faster.
Well, yeah, I started walking too, man. I still do my workouts, but I've started about 5 days a week. I'll go to Camp Jordan, and one lap is 2 miles, and I'll do one or two laps depending on how my old hips and joints feel.
Yeah.
But, you know, I have found that I don't know if it's because we're getting older, Gunner, or what, but walking is a good way of burning some calories, keeping my activity up without having to totally be, balls to the wall, all out workout.
Yeah, it's very easy on the joints. And I mean, anybody can walk for the most part, unless you have a disability. And I'm sure there's some cases, but like for the most part, you can get out and walk. It's healthy for you. You
Yeah.
don't break too much of a sweat. I mean, it's pushing 90 degrees these days, so I get a little sweaty by the time I go back to the office. But I just bring a tank top, throw a tank top on. When I'm
Hey,
done, put my shirt back on, go back to work, man.
cut that beard off in the summer, dude. Trim that thing up a little bit.
You know, I'm getting close. I'm getting real close to probably shaving this thing off. I like it though. It depends on what day it is. Some days I'll wake up and I'm like, you know what? I'm done with this. Some days I'll wake up and I'm like, you know what? I like the beard. Who knows?
Well, I didn't have a beard till about 5 years ago. I was a goatee guy,
Yeah.
and then back in the day, I had the mustache because that was cool. And I grew my beard about 5 years ago, and now I'm just afraid what my face looks like under it. So I'm just going to keep it. I'm just going to
Right.
keep it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, listen.
I feel
Oh,
like a
go ahead.
beard is like makeup for guys.
It is. It is. And you can do something different with it. Here's the difference, though. You see this? Can you see me at all on your phone? You can't see me, can you?
No, I can see you.
Look at that right there. You see, that's called white. That's what yours is going to look like in about 10 or 15 years.
Hey, man, when I get that George Clooney salt and pepper coming in, I'm gonna be excited.
I got the pepper. I just don't have the looks of the George Clooney or the cashola. Hey, let's do this before we go spend some time while you're walking. You've got a golf tournament coming up, and I want to make sure you get a chance to tell folks about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So a few weeks ago, one of my good buddies and former teammates at UTC during my time there, Adam Miller, passed away unexpectedly. Um, kind of shook our whole community up as far as the team and the alumni and everyone involved. Because if you knew Adam, you knew that he was not just a good guy. Adam was one of the best guys you could ever be around. Would do anything for you. There's some people that are just good humans, and you know what? He was an exceptional one. He was a great guy. Um, so what we wanted to do, he has a baby on the way. He also
Oh,
has another kid, uh, married here recently, and what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to put on a memorial golf tournament for him and his family. All proceeds will be going to his kids and his wife. Uh, the tournament is going to be at Knob North in Northwest Whitfield. It's going to be next Wednesday. I believe we're already at capacity,
oh
so
wow.
that's not really the plug. We've already got 44 teams and a few teams on a waiting list in case somebody doesn't show up. But what I'm kind of wanting to say here is, if you have that soft spot in your heart for someone that is going through something like this, like his family, like this is totally like he is a healthy guy, 30 years old, like that shouldn't happen to anyone. If you want to donate, if your company wants to sponsor a hole, if you want to pitch in some way, however you can help, reach out to us. We'll be sharing it later on my Facebook page, the Adam Memorial Tournament, the Adam Miller Memorial Tournament. And if you want to sponsor it, if you want to donate some money, reach out to me or reach out to Sinjin Heron or Jacob Huseman, all guys that are part of the Mox community, and we'll get the money in the right place.
We'll talk about it again before we get off here too, and
Yeah.
then we'll direct people to your Facebook page. So companies that want to sponsor holes or just donate to the family.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a good cause. I mean, it's a terrible cause, but it's good that you guys are stepping up and doing something like that. So let's try to do what we can do and switch gears. You're still doing Chat with Gunner, but I also noticed that you've done a couple more, brought the 60-minute Broadway back.
Yeah, so the thought process behind that, I'm always trying to get an advantage or figure out, how I can manipulate some more views to go a certain way. So when I was doing the 60-minute Broadway last year, we had a lot of steam. A lot of that steam came through Facebook ads, utilizing that. And, we were getting upwards of 8 to 9,000 views per video, but also having to put a little money back into the product, which if you're wanting to start something really nice, you're going to have to invest in yourself, and that's completely fine with me. Started Chat with Gunner in 2020 and moved off of Facebook, which was our platform, and went over to YouTube. Not saying that it's necessarily like disappointing to see where the numbers are at, because that's not what I do it for. I do it because it's fun. But you know, we're wanting to grow it a little bit. And when I say we, I am wanting to grow it a little bit. So my thought process moving forward was to have a guest on that has a YouTube channel, that also has a good presence within the majority of my fans, which was the wrestling community, and guys that are involved in wrestling or keep up with that whole deal. So I wanted to put it on Facebook. I threw some Facebook ad money at it. We ended up getting over, I think, 14,000 views on that video, which also, the way I was able to advertise it was put my links up to YouTube, my links up to Apple Podcasts, my links up to Spotify. And this week we surged on all. So we had more subscribers on YouTube, more subscribers on Spotify, more subscribers on podcasts, more reviews, and more listens through Buzzsprout, which is what I do all my podcasting through. So it was a successful week and money well spent.
Well, I've said this before. I'm on YouTube during the break, and I've got, I'm on Spotify and stuff. And one of the things that I've learned is YouTube, Twitter, and even on Instagram, if you're spending money on there for stories, they're great platforms. But Facebook is really, I think, kind of where it all starts, because that's where you're friends with other people, not other podcasts. Most individual people do not have their own podcast. They don't even have their own Twitter account. And they're not really, a lot of just people aren't up on doing Instagram stories. But most everybody we know has a Facebook page. And that's where you actually, Gunnar Miller can talk to Clint Powell as a person. And when your money's spent, you're actually talking to people, not other podcasts or other companies.
Yeah, it truly is probably the easiest, most simple way to find the demographics of who's actually listening or watching what you're doing. Target that audience, and your advertisement money goes directly into those pockets. Like,
Yeah.
I know that the majority of my audience is 18 to 65-year-old men. So that's, I'm not, why would I spend money trying to advertise towards 65 to 90-year-old women? Like, that's not, that's obviously not going to benefit me the most. So I'm just trying to take advantage of who's actually watching and the friends of those people that are watching.
Hey, real quick, because I'm going to keep you another 15 minutes or so, and I want to make
Okay.
sure I go through this list of things I wanted to talk to you about.
Okay.
You had the last one when you were talking about the video that got 14,000 or 15,000 views. You had a guy named Stephen Platinum on,
Yeah.
and what was it? What's the draw to Stephen Platinum? And when I was talking to you, I unfortunately I didn't know it as much. I didn't know
Yeah.
that he is who he is.
Right. Well, and the thing there, it was kind of like a perfect storm. So Steven started his YouTube channel around the same time I started my 60-minute Broadway wrestling channel. And we were talking about the same stuff, and we kind of had the same points. Very controversial, but also not afraid to share the opinion. And both were getting quite a bit of views and a lot of a lot of feedback. He also works with or heads up Georgia Wrestling History down in Georgia. It's, if you look at independent wrestling states in the country, Georgia might be the best when it comes to promoting the entire state in every show. They have writers that go to each show. They give in-depth reviews. It's pretty special. I wish every state would do it. It would get get some guys more looks and get the product out there a little bit more. But Steven's involved with that, but he does it from Orlando, and he does it from his couch, and that's kind of the joke. Some guy from Orlando from his couch has, some say so when it comes to wrestling in Georgia, and he truly does. But his YouTube channel is growing. He's actually trying to get in bed with PW Insider to be one of their journalists to break down like AEW and WWE news.
Wow.
So he's slowly growing his little following there, and I figured that if I could get him on my Facebook and we could do a show together, that it would draw big numbers. But he never could get to Chattanooga. So I finally got to where, the whole Corona thing's happening and we're doing webcam shows now. It's a great time to do that. I was like, hey, man, we got to figure it out. See if you can get it figured out on your end. It lagged a little bit at times, but otherwise went off great. And we didn't even talk much about wrestling. We talked a lot about, being a role model and philosophy and, things that I really enjoy talking about. So it was a fun conversation, and I think people enjoyed it.
Well, but people also have gotten accustomed to lag times and speaking over each other. They're pretty gracious and forgiving of that because that's kind of like real life, and they're okay with they like the transparency of it. At least I think they do.
Yeah, I think so too. And I mean, a lot of people just listen to things, so you don't see the lag time. But then again, some people like that visual. I'm kind of that way. I like a visual, like when I'm watching a Joe Rogan show or if I click on one of your videos, I like kind of seeing the facial expressions and all that. But also at the same time, I love listening to podcasts when I'm working out. So I'll just have it in my ear and it might be playing from YouTube or something, but I'm just getting the audio. So either way, it's up to each person's discretion. But I think that as long as you're putting content out, somebody's going to listen to it.
I see that you're ordering meals now. Have you always been doing that?
No, well, off and on. Listen, I have done so much research on diet and nutrition to not be more proficient with it and more effective. So, what I'm doing now is I'm ordering through nutrition solutions. I ran across a couple of guys in the WWE that have completely changed their physiques around. Aesthetically, they look amazing, and they're in their 40s, right? So they look better than they did when in their 20s and 30s, and it's all due to this nutrition solutions with their training plan. Their whole deal was they've been trying to out train a bad diet their whole lives. You can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm the guy. I'm always trying to out train a bad diet. You can't do it. So started doing nutrition solutions. I've got it this week. I'm going to do it for 12 weeks for sure. That way I can send them transformation pictures and videos and all the stuff and try to get featured on their page and hopefully get them to kind of plug my stuff a little bit. But if not, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm just trying to get in good shape, man.
I did Body for Life competition years and years ago, and I loved it, man. Of course, it's probably 15, 20 years ago, but Body for Life was a transformation thing that I did, and they send you the diet and the workout plan too.
Yeah.
Um, I also noticed that you are showing your watch a lot, your wristwatch.
Yeah.
What's that? Is that kind of like the Jocko thing?
No, not the Jocko thing. The Jocko thing will be waking up at 4:30 in the morning and talking
Eh,
about discipline equal freedom.
Yeah, I know.
For
I
me,
see it every day and go, well, I missed another 4:30 workout. That's okay.
that's all right. Still motivating.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with me, I just love the ability to be able to look at my Apple Watch and track my calories. Probably not to the exact number, but I'll give you a rough estimate. I'd say there's probably a 200 to 300 leeway there. So if I can track my calories, my active calories burned, and I can track my calories now that I'm intaking with a meal plan, I got to set myself up for success somehow or another. So I've been keeping a spreadsheet for the past I'm on week 10 now. I've got a vacation coming up, so I'm trying to get in decent shape for this vacation
Yeah.
so that I don't look like a bum. But for the most part, just trying to keep up with my calories in, calories out. And then I realized that doesn't really work either. So I need a meal prep company. I need good nutrition, and I need to know exactly what I'm burning.
Well, we tried it before, right when the coronavirus was hitting us. We were trying to get you and Ed Jones hooked up for a video cast. I'm gonna try to restart that because I'm telling you, once you start asking him some questions on your video, I think you and him are going to kind of have a natural attraction to each other as far as information goes.
Yeah. I want to get Ed. I want to get with Ed, and I want to get with Matt Davis. That's two
Oh
guys that I
yeah.
really want to talk to. So
We'll give them some shout outs. Both of those guys would be great. And now that you're doing video stuff and they both know how to do videos with me, it should be no problem. I mean, it should just be a matter of getting calendars together.
right,
Hey, are you wrestling right now? Are you ever going to do that again?
yeah. So as far as wrestling goes, right now everything's kind of shut down
Yeah.
outside of the big promotions. From what I'm seeing on social media, some uh, smaller independent deals are starting to open up a little bit. The issue with that, I think, I'm not sure, is that you can only have so many people in the crowd, or you have to do an outside show or something like that. The company that I'm kind of exclusive to, I say exclusive to, that's all kind of a gimmick. The one company that I'm willing to work for right now, it's once a month, and it's Southern Honor Wrestling. We haven't ran a show since, I believe, February. That was the last show. So
Wow.
I'm not sure when we're going to start back up. I will be involved when that happens. I had several things I wanted to do. I told them I'd give them at least a year. I was kind of iffy on what I wanted to do, is come back or not come back or whatever. But I think I'm getting to a place right now where I'm starting to realize I'm not going to live my life as a professional wrestling gimmick. I'm going to live my life like me. I'm going to treat people the way I want to be treated. I'm going to treat the people in the wrestling business the way I wanted to be treated as a person, and quit digging into this whole good guy, bad guy persona. That was leading me down a terrible path. So I'm just going to be
Well,
me,
well,
and we're going to see
it
what happens.
pigeonholes you. It also pigeonholes you. I mean, if you call yourself a bad guy, you're a bad guy. Then you have to switch over. If you are who you are, you're not pigeonholed. It's a comfortable place to be.
Yeah, well, the thing with that, and I made a post yesterday, but pro wrestling is such a slippery slope when it comes to like overlapping with your personal life. Um, it if you're a bad guy, in order to be great, you really want to go all in. So you want to be a bad guy all the time. Well, what happens is you start treating people that are not involved in the wrestling business as if they're in the wrestling business, and then you just become a dick. Like you're just a bad guy. Like so, I, that's the path I was going on, and I have cut that off completely. I think that getting injured a couple years ago started that path because I kept playing pro wrestler even though I wasn't wrestling. And then, you know, I corrected myself. The quarantine helped me. The corona actually was a blessing for me because it was able to reset me and let me just sit there in my head at nighttime and be like, what do I really want to do? Write some things down, put a plan together. And I'm starting to find myself again. I'm starting to find the Gunnar Miller that was in college playing football, being a captain, being a leader. So I got the whole hashtag the people's captain thing going. I'm going to keep that, and I'm going to quit being such a bad guy in the wrestling business and start being more of a motivator and an inspirator, because in the end goal, that's what I want to do in the long run. I want to get up and give some motivational talk, speak on some experiences that I have in my life, and just try to help people out.
Well, you don't want to be a caricature of yourself or have a persona where it's kind of fake as much as possible.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that rediscovering yourself process, because you're young and I'm old. That's a process that you better get comfortable with, because every every now and then you've got to do that. It's not going to be you find yourself when you're 30 and you're done, and you find yourself when you're 40. It's yearly, monthly, weekly. Every 10 years you have to consistently rediscover who you are, because you're always changing.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And I think, one of the biggest things to kind of stay on that is to just plan your day and then review your day at the end of the day. It's the simplest thing that we've talked about this before on the podcast.
Yeah.
It's the simplest thing to do. The simplest concept is to write down goals, check them off during the day. At the end of the day, review your goals, figure out what you did and you didn't do, and then create a plan for the next day, right? Kind of grade yourself, be your own judge. But what do the majority of people do? We don't do that because we sit down, we watch Netflix, we start eating ice cream, we do things that are comfortable, when in reality, we should be spending our entire day seeking the uncomfortable and trying to do things that suck, because the more things that we do that suck are going to make us not suck as a person. So I'm just trying to keep searching and seeking for things that suck and uncomfortable situations, and then ultimately that's going to make me a better, harder person.
Comfort is the enemy of growth. And I said this on a couple of podcasts about businesses, but it's true about people too. I think this quarantine, the coronavirus, has put a lot of pressure on businesses, and they have found where they have leaks. Well, as human beings, this quarantine put a lot of pressure on our state of mind, our habits, our family relationships. And when you get pressure, that's where you find the leaks. And that's where you really find, you know what, I've not had good habits for a year, and now I'm starting to get the consequences from it. And it's like you said it helped you kind of rediscover yourself. I'm hoping a lot of people have taken advantage of that.
Yeah, and I hope that a lot of people didn't, just get bogged down with negativity during these times, because that's also easy to do. It's easier than it is to, search to find the positive and find things that are wrong and correct them during this time. People are out of jobs. People are financially struggling during these times. People that, like, if you look at like the service industry, that's how they make their money, off of tips and providing service to people. And if you take their ability to be able to serve people, now they can't provide for their families or for themselves, which is most important. So I
Yeah.
just hope that people are able to call an audible and try to figure out a way to figure out how to turn everything that's happening in the world right now. Everybody wants to just keep harping on the negative. Try to find something positive out of each day and just be the best version of yourself. If everyone would be the best version of themselves, we would find ourselves living in a better place.
All right, I got three more things I'll say, and then we'll let you get back to work. One of them is I said this on a podcast the other day that I'm thinking about starting a small group of this. It's intermittent fasting. So we all know what intermittent fasting is, where you only give yourself like 6, 8 hours a day to eat, right?
Yeah.
You take a break. Well, I want to do the same thing, I think, about social media, the news, anything that is not about working. So every day I take a fast from I'm committed to this group. I'm not going to go to my social media page unless except for these 5 hours. I'm not going to watch news except for these 5 hours. And I bet it would almost cleanse our minds and our souls.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I think that's really smart. I think that if you do some research and dig into it, a lot of people that live in areas where there's not great cellular service, those people are oftentimes more happy than the people that are living packed on top of each other in big cities. So
Yeah.
the more you can get away from the distractions, I think the more time you have to work on yourself and to kind of figure out, what am I doing that I dislike? What are some of my weaknesses? And how can I prepare a plan to get the best out of myself?
Yep. I ask companies all the time, business owners, I'm like, give me a list of things you avoid, and I will show you the things that you need help with. Because people avoid stuff. We don't like saying I don't like it. We just put it on our to-do list, and it just goes from I didn't do it today, I'll do it tomorrow. And I feel
Yeah.
good because I put it on my list, but I avoid doing it. Hey, we're gonna change it up. I know you're about to get back to work. Did you notice or did you see the headline? Mr. Wrestling #2 passed away.
I did, man. And here's
Uh,
something that's going to get me in trouble with all the wrestling community.
Stop it. Don't you do it.
I couldn't tell you who portrayed Mr. Wrestling #2. So I didn't. People think that, being in the wrestling business and being a wrestler, that I have all this knowledge of like the older wrestlers. I
Right.
really don't, man. Like, I really focused on the 90s forward, with the exception of some guys in the 80s.
Well, but Mr. Wrestling 1 and 2, that one of them had the black mask, one of them had the white mask,
Right.
and so as I grew up, they were just two of the guys that I watched wrestling. And
Yeah.
when you're my age and you're the guys you watched that were young, when they start passing away, it reminds you of your own mortality, and you're like, well, damn, if they're old, I'm probably old too. I don't like
Yeah.
that a bit. Hey, let's do this, man, because this has been a good conversation. Let's wrap this up because we're on almost 25 minutes. Tell everybody two things: one, how to find your content, and two, more about how if they want to contribute to the golf tournament.
Yeah. So the easiest way to find me is to go to my Facebook page. Really, I post everything up on there. But also go to YouTube, and in the search bar, type in Chat with Gunner. That's CHATT with Gunner. All one word. It's the easiest way to find it. That way you can find all the videos of the podcast. Also, you can find the audio from the podcast on Apple Podcast and on Spotify. which Spotify seems to be the new platform as far as podcast streaming goes.
Yeah,
With
it's
Joe
killing
Rogan landing that $100 million deal. So, hopefully some more people are going over there. But the Adam Miller Memorial Golf Tournament is going. All proceeds, all donations, all sponsorships going to his family, his wife, his kid, his unborn child so far. So,
And he was a 30-year-old teammate of yours at UTC, correct?
man, 30-year-old teammate of mine, one of the best guys I've ever known. Just a great human being. When you hear the story, this person was taken from us far too soon. I couldn't stress that enough. Adam should have lived a long, healthy life, and he should have been able to enjoy his family and his two children. So if you can, next Wednesday, come out to the golf course. I believe it's Knob North in Whitfield County, and bring a donation. Anything can help. $1, $50, $100, $1,000. I know I'm going to donate more than just playing in the tournament. So I
Well,
would
also,
appreciate it.
if you're a business, you want to be a whole sponsor, you can get a hold of Gunner. And I just posted up on our conversation. Carrie Anderson actually put a link up to Knob North in case people want to know more about the golf
Great.
course. So
Yeah, and
thank you, Carrie.
tonight on I film or record all my podcasts on Thursdays. So tonight I have Sinjin Heron and Jacob Huseman coming onto the show. We are going to sit down and kind of do a tribute show to Adam, and also break all the details and all the news regarding the golf tournament next Wednesday at Knob North. I believe the first groups are going to tee off at 7:30 a.m. The lunch and raffling and everything is going to be from noon to 2, and the second group is going to tee off at 1:30. So I'll be in that second group if you want to come out to Knob North and say hello, or donate some money to the family. Just any bit of support would be greatly appreciated.
Would that be a live show tonight, or will it be recorded and released later?
I'm not going to do it live tonight. We're going to
Okay.
record it. The YouTube will be out, no later than 10 p.m. tonight, and
Okay.
then Apple Podcasts and Spotify will be up by 10 a.m. in the morning.
Cool. All right, everybody, go check out Gunner's content. Subscribe, like, give him a good review. Find out about that golf tournament. And, dude, keep at it, dude. I love watching you grow and try new things. And so I'm a big supporter of that. Keep going. If I can help, let me know.
Clint, I appreciate it. Keep doing your thing, man. I'll talk to you next time.
See you, buddy.
Yep, bye.